Hello there, Nareg is here. Today I'm going to talk about how to make the choice of a system. Of course, we're talking about the coordinate system. So let's start first with the system which is normal. So whenever we have, let's say, OIJ, a system which is said to be normal, a system which is normal. In this case, you have to make sure that you will have a system where your vectors, unit vectors I, will be equal to the unit vector j, and of course it will be one unit. So you have I is equal to j in values, of course, and is equal to 1 unit. So in the normal system, it's not important to have I and j perpendicular or orthogonal. You simply have to check the unit of I and j. They both have to be of 1 unit. The norm should be 1. What is a system? Let's say we have OIJ, where the system is said to be orthogonal. So if it is called orthogonal system, in this case you have to, so in this case you need to draw your axes in orthogonal way. So these are the axes, x prime or x and y prime or y, and your vectors I and j should have the angle between them. So this is I, let's say, and this is j. The angle between I and j should be 90 degrees or pi over 2. So they should be orthogonal. Now, in this case, it's not important to have I and j having the same norm. It's not important to have them 1 unit. The most important thing is to have the angle between the two vectors I and j 90 degrees, or simply pi over 2. I and j are orthogonal. Now, there is a third case where we can have the system O, I, and j. The system is orthonormal. Now, when the system is orthonormal, you need to make sure to have your axis x prime or x, y prime or y orthogonal, and the vectors I and j, both of them should have the same norm. So we have I perpendicular or orthogonal to j, plus we have the value of I, the norm of I is equal to the norm of j, which is, of course, it's equal to 1 unit. So you have the norm the same, that's why normal, and orthonormal because they should have the angle between I and j, again, pi over 2, which is 90 degrees. Alright, now in the coordinate system, in most of the cases we're gonna use orthonormal system. And how do you find the coordinate of a certain point? So let's say we are using an orthonormal system. So this is my orthonormal system. Again, I'm gonna remind you, this is the axis of abscissa, x prime or x, y prime or y. It is defined by the two unit vectors I and j, and of course I and j have the same unit, which are 1. The angle between them is pi over 2, which is of course 90 degrees. Let's say I'm interested in a certain point positioned at this place. Let's say this is A. We need to find out the coordinates of A. So A has the abscissa 3, and as for the ordinate, it's 2. So this is how you can write the position of point A in your coordinate system. Is 3. 3 represents the units on the axis of abscissa. As for 2, the units on the axis of ordinates. So 3, 2. Now let's say we had this position for the point B. Let's say this was the position of point B. Now in this case we should pay attention to 1, 2, let's say. So B has the coordinates -2 and 1. B has the coordinates -2 and 1. You have 2 units towards the negative part of x prime or x, and 1 unit towards the upper part of the ordinate, and this is how you get the coordinates of your point B. Similarly, we can talk about a certain vector. Let's say we have the point C, which is here. C has the coordinates 1, 1. Now what about the vector CA? Let's say I'm interested in writing the components of, or the coordinates of the vector CA. Now in case you want to talk about CA, you need to say CA has the components x of A minus x of C, y of A minus y of C. So x of A minus x of C is 3 minus 1 is 2. Y of A minus y of C is 2 minus 1 is 1. So the vector CA, it can be written as CA 2, 1, or you can simply write it in this way, CA 2, 1. If you want to use the vectors, the unit vectors I and j, you can write down CA as CA is equal to 2i plus 1j. And in fact, if you check CA, it has 2 units towards the positive part of x prime or x, so 2i, and then 1j. So this is how you will have CA written in the form of x, so it's xi plus yj, 2i plus 1j. Alright, so this is simply a video where I'm talking about how to make the choice of a system. We already mentioned about normal, orthogonal, and orthonormal. In this case, we're using orthonormal, and how we are supposed to find the coordinates of a certain point found in our system. And finally, we can of course transform this into vectors also, and even vectors have coordinates or components which can be simply written as xi plus yj. That's all for this video. Why don't you subscribe to my channel? You'll be receiving notification whenever I upload new videos or new material. I can also share with you my Instagram and Facebook account. And why not, if you have a comment, why not leave a comment below? That's all for this time, and see you later.